welcome to Kim's Keto Kitchen, where I make delicious keto recipes that you can make easily in your own kitchen. So today I'm going to make something that I kind of concocted myself one day during the pandemic when all I had was hamburger and cheese on hand. And I made this hamburger pie, and you know, it's like whenever I try to make something from a recipe, it never really tastes as good. But when I tend to wing it on my own, it always tends to taste better for some reason. I don't know why. But here we go. I'm gonna give you the recipe. Let me turn the camera to the stove, and then we'll get started. Hang on. Okay, so what I have here is about 1.5 pounds of hamburger, and I have a girl's best friend, frozen chopped onions that I've thrown on top of those. And I'm gonna fry this up. And I'm using this wonderful tool I found on Amazon. It's like a meat scrambler. It chops up your meat. So wonderful. I will leave a link to it on the underneath in the description box below. But yeah, it really helps get those pieces really tiny. So yeah, this kind of developed, you know, as all recipes do, good recipes do, during a time when all I had was hamburger and, you know, just stuff in the pantry. And so I made it. I just threw it all together with what I had. And it ended up being so delicious. Even my husband and my daughter, who aren't keto, loved it. My daughter, in fact, took it to work. She finished it off at lunch for the next couple of days after that. So that's a big thing for my daughter or anybody to do. It shows that they must have really loved it. So it was really flavorful, and I'll show you some of the things I put in there to make it flavorful. My huge onion powder. I'd say that was about a teaspoon. Garlic powder. I tend not to use whole garlic. You can use whole garlic in this. It'd probably be very good. But I tend to have stomach issues with whole garlic and garlic powder. It seems to be a little bit easier on my stomach. Okay, so salt. I have pink Himalayan. You can use whatever you have on hand. I'd say about a teaspoon of that. And about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, or more, depending on your taste. Let's give that a mix up. Let's see. Yep. And one of the things I put in here that really takes it over to the next level is Worcestershire sauce. And I just happened to notice when I pulled all my ingredients out that I have probably about a couple teaspoons left. That's it. I would probably put a good tablespoon or 2 in it. I have about 1.5 pounds of meat. I don't know if I said that. I freeze all my meat, especially now. I freeze them into, because I'm home now. I worked for 30 years in teaching, just retired about a year ago, or exactly a year ago. And it's really been wonderful because I've been able to spend time with my grandson and then prepare my meats and everything ahead of time. I put them in separate baggies, mark how much is in it, and freeze it and date it. And it's been so wonderful. I just pull it out a couple days before, stick it in the refrigerator in a bowl and a paper towel, and it's ready for me. Used to be I'd have to pull it out and defrost it in the microwave, and you know, sometimes it cooks in the microwave and you don't, you know, it gets browned on the edges and stuff. It's just been so nice to be home. I do miss working, but I found other ways to make myself happy in this new life I'm having. So I'm gonna give it a little tang. This is the other ingredient that I think took it to the next level. I don't think I'm gonna put it in there just yet though. I want to put in a little mustard. You know what? I'm gonna drain this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've drained it, got most of that fat off. It was like ground chuck, so there was more on the fatty side, which is fine. I left a little bit of the grease in there because, again, on keto, you want a little bit. That's how I am anyway. A lot of people on keto will keep all the fat they can. At my age, 61, I want to keep fats healthier for myself. So I just have a little bit, mostly butter, oil, anything from meats will be my fat. And I try to keep it as lean as I can. And but when things are on sale, I'll get the ground chuck and then just drain it. So I'm putting in about 6 ounces. I put in about a tablespoon of mustard, just regular French's mustard, and about a half of a 8 ounce, so 4 ounces of, what is that called? Cream cheese. And let's see what I have left in here. I probably have about a 1/4 cup left of my sour cream, so I'm just gonna put that in. And what this does is it makes it nice and creamy. It kind of makes it a velvety texture, which I really enjoy in this dish. Okay, I'm gonna add some Worcestershire. And I really like that taste of the Worcestershire, so I'm using the rest of it. I must remember to put that on my list for next week. All right, so let's use the tool and get this mashed in here. Maybe this isn't the best tool. I don't know. Oh, it is. It's working well. Just gotta shake it because it gets in between there. There we go. Maybe I'll just use this spoon for now, so the big chunks are gone. But you just kind of keep mashing, 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 and it's getting creamier. And now that mustard's going to give it a nice little bite. You've got the nice onions. I mean, you could put any vegetables in here. Let's see, carrots are high glycemic, so I don't usually use those, but if I do, you could put a few in. And you can put just about anything. You can put broccoli in here, you can put even beans in here, whatever floats your boat. I'm just going to stick with onion because that's how I did it the first time and I loved it. That's all I had in the house. So that's what I'm going to do today. All right, so I'm getting that. Let's see, is there anything else I needed to add? No, I think that's it for the concoction. I'm going to turn it down just a bit to medium. That was on about a medium high to fry it up. And it looks like it's about ready. Oh, there's a big piece of, there we go. Okay. So now I think we're about ready to add the next ingredient, which is, I use, and I don't have a package of it handy right now, but I made some, it's called Impostable. I'll put a link to it below. You can get it on Amazon. I get it on, I have a store here that actually sells it for a little cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. It's pretty pricey. It's about $7.99 for about 16 ounces, a pound. But I don't use very much of it. So this was half of one after boiled up. It has a really good texture, close to the texture of real pasta. The only thing is they're very brittle. And you can, they break, you know, if you try to jam them like I did, a lot of it broke into pieces, but that's okay. I'm gonna add that because I had some left over. And last time I added, I had some cauliflower rice and I put that in here. First I fried the rice up to get some of the moisture out so it wouldn't be so watery. And that was delicious. But trying this now, I figure it might bulk it up a little bit more too with the pasta in here. Now this Impostable is not the best. It does have some wheat flour in it. So if you're trying to get yourself into ketosis, it's probably not the best, the greatest thing. You might, sorry, that's home cooking, throwing it back in. You might want to stay away from this for a while when you're trying to get into ketosis. But if you have, you know, again, everything in moderation. Try to be as healthy as you can. Okay, so that is the filling, okay? And I'm gonna show you now, I'm gonna reset the camera and I'll show you how I fill it and bake it up. All right, hang on. Okay, so we're back. And here's the luscious filling. I took a taste to check for if it needed salt or anything, and I put a little bit more salt in it. It needed a little bit more than a teaspoon for me, for my liking. I tend to go on the salty side. All right, so I have sprayed this dish. This is like an old Pampered Chef dish I got years ago. I sprayed it with some coconut spray, and I'm going to put the filling in. Oh, looks so good. Again, there are many possibilities on how to do this. This is just the way I did it, minus the cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice was delicious. I cooked it in a frying pan, the frozen cauliflower rice, with a little butter, and I cooked it down until it dried out a bit, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes. And then I mixed it in the meat mixture. That's how I made with cauliflower rice. But this is really bulked up. This is gonna be a good family dinner. I mean, I'm telling you that Impostable, I'll put a little picture so you can see it right here, or maybe over here, so that you can see it. And it's really delicious. Okay, so just one more ingredient. I always have cheddar cheese that I grate myself. I buy the blocks because it's cheaper. And I grate it in my Cuisinart. And because I was doing it by hand, and oh boy, do I hate to do it. So, and then I put it in bags like this and freeze them, and then pull it out as I need them. And I've got probably like 3 or 4 of these in my freezer right now. And it's so handy to do it that way. So this is it. You just put this on top and put it in an oven at 350 for about a half hour, and we'll come back and we'll have a taste test. Okay, so it's done. So let's take that out. Ooh, it looks good. What I did was the last 3 minutes, I put it under the broil because I like it to be nice and browned on the top. So we're gonna taste test it and see what it's like with these noodles in there. I think I'm gonna like it because I love those noodles. I'm just gonna take a little scoop out. Oh. It is still warm, so it's kind of crumbly still, but that's okay. A nice piece for lunch. I'll have a bite now and finish it later. Beautiful, huh? Okay, still steaming. Let's just take this over the edge. In my garden, I have some beautiful parsley. Just love fresh herbs. Just love them. I put them on everything. So there's some parsley and some nice chive. Some of that on it. Give it more of an oniony taste, different kind of oniony taste. Also, I don't know if I told you you're supposed to boil the Impostable. I don't know if I was clear that you have to boil the Impostable because, and then what I did was I froze it. I had it for another meal. I had shrimp and Alfredo, and I used those for pasta. So let me take a picture of this. I'll be right back. I'm ready to give it a taste. So let's get some of that cheese, and that cheese is really baked in there. It's crusty. I'm gonna take some of the green from my garden, and you know, all the herbs add a punch. They really do. You know, excuse me. You could probably add some herbs, dried herbs even, or fresh herbs into the meat mixture itself. I have to say that the cream cheese and the sour cream give it such a nice tang. And you think tang and hamburger, ew, but it is so good. You have to try this. And like I said, it was just born out of necessity. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for coming into Kim's Keto Kitchen, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.